So what kind of pizza we're gonna make
I guess
now?
we'll start with the margarita, which is, you know, the classic tomato sauce and cheese.
It's
and
really the pizza that defines the pizza maker, isn't it? It's like what
I think so.
What a baguette is to a French baker,
I
the
would agree with
margarita is to a pizza
Yeah, I
maker.
would totally agree. And I think it's probably the one that's the hardest to make come out good, generally. And it's also a little sweeter than, like, let's say the marinara, which has garlic. So it's easier to sort of fake your way through a taste if it's a little more savory. This is a pretty straightforward, delicate flavor when it's done right.
It's a naked pizza. It's going
Very much,
to show any flaws.
So then that's what I do with flattening it. When I flatten it, I use my fingertips.
And at this point, what's the weight of this dough?
I would say it's about 9.5 ounces.
So about 9.5 ounces, and you haven't really stretched it to its full size yet.
Right.
But then you'll finish that.
It'll get stretched a little bit more here, but it's not going to be that big. It's a little more trickier for baking. I just had a discussion with my my wife's uncle when we were in Naples, because he really loves pizza that has like a big puffy crust, which you don't really see. And you're starting to see a little bit of a comeback in Naples, but when I was really into Naples and really influenced by Naples, that was the way they were. They were basically like just a puffy dough with a little bit of stuff on it, but basically it was almost like a pita in a sense.
Yeah.
It's a little more trickier to bake. Because if the dough is really flat, it's easier to make sure that it cooks all the way through.
But so you didn't really stretch it. You just pressed it out with your fingertips.
Totally.
And
Try to keep as much air in as possible.
And I see you're putting mozzarella cheese. And this is
buffalo mozzarella. This is San Marzano tomatoes. Yeah.
So when you get them, are you getting them as whole tomatoes and crushing them?
Yes.
And do you do that by hand or with a machine, or how do you do that?
We've gone over the years with doing it by hand, and now we use an old-fashioned food mill.
One of the things I love about it, aside from the fact that the color is just you know it's going to be good because it looks beautiful, but there's tomato solids in there. It's still meat. It's not just a puree.
Yeah. I think it adds to the taste of the pizza if it's a little bit wet. I mean, this is not the wettest that we do it, and it's not the driest that we do it. It's sort of an in-between.
You only used one ladle. It probably looks like about an ounce and a half.
This ladle also was my grandmother's, by the way.
So
it's not a pizza ladle. I've had this thing since I started.
That's beautiful because you're connected to that ladle in a different level, which I like. Well, the sauce is beautiful. It's thin, and you know the flavors are going to pop. And then tell us about the cheese. You're choosing buffalo mozzarella, not just regular.
Again, but the main reason why I use the buffalo over that stuff is visually. Fior di latte, when it's melted on a pizza or cow's milk mozzarella, it just gets flatter. It gets those little holes in it. It can brown more. It just visually...
It goes from white to brown.
It just doesn't look alive like this cheese does when it's cooked.
So we got the cheese on
that's cheese. So then this is sea salt from Trapani, which is like the main area of Sicily that is famous for sea salt. And then for the margarita, of course, you have the basil, which you know everyone knows the story of the margarita.
And we tear up the leaves to...
Tear it up, we cook them. A lot of people like to put them on after the fact. Again, for me, I don't like anything to go on the pizza after it comes out except for when we make the pizza with the arugula. I like everything to come together on the pizza in the oven.
Yeah, over the years, we've seen a lot of different choices on when to put the basil on.
Yeah.
Do you put oil over the top of this before it goes in there?
Now I'm going to put oil on. That's my final thing, which kind of binds it all together.
Okay.
And then I'm pretty heavy-handed with the oil, and I use a very light oil. And that's it.
So they're going in and coming out. In the oven for about 60 to 90 seconds, depending on how hot the oven is. Do you ever have to dome it?
I do, yeah. I do probably with almost every pizza.
Well, but look at on this pizza how the basil has not only wilted, it's started to char in its own right, and also but the cheese is just browning up a little bit. It's not super brown. So here's this real puffy edge, and you can see it's really puffed up. And I'm guessing we're going to taste a nice creaminess in this slice. Okay, I'm going to try the one you sliced first. And the first thing that is really different about a pizza made in this Italian style is that the crust gets soft very shortly after it comes out. It's not a crisp, hard crust. It doesn't necessarily, it's standing out pretty good right now, but it's starting to kind of sag. But that's part of the process. And then I would typically kind of fold it up and do sort of a modified version of the whole pizza sandwich. That's so good. I love the char flavor. A lot of people that aren't used to it, they think it's burnt. They go, "Hey, you burnt my pizza." But to me, this is where a lot of the flavors. It adds smokiness, that some of us crave. I didn't put too much sauce. I'm not eating stewed tomatoes. I'm eating, this pizza was kissed with tomato sauce. It's the right balance of cheese, sauce, dough, and so there's a harmony here. That is fantastic.